welcome back to.
Callum literally walked away.
Don't worry, Callum. You can't catch. Actually, I don't. Let me not even say that, bro. Hello, everybody, and
great.
Everybody, welcome to Bandit football fans. It's been about a week since we came back. I'm bringing in my deep voice because I can. Yeah, yeah, man. Today we have Ben. We've got D. Yeah, and we got Callum. And myself, Deji. So I'm going to be asking the questions today. I'm only going to ask one question, really and truly. And we're pretty much, halfway through the season, thereabouts. And I guess today is just basically finding out or, kind of looking at who's doing well, who's not doing too well. What our expectations were at the beginning of the season. Is it reaching expectations? And also, hopefully today we might find some people's receipts because, some people might want a refund and some people might just want to keep the items that they have. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man. I mean, who wants to go first? How's everyone feeling? Actually, you know what? Let's start on a hot topic that we was talking about before we actually even started this podcast. Red cards. VAR.
Fuck the refs.
This season. This season. Let's start with Ben. Like what are we saying for this season about VAR? Because I think at the beginning of the season we spoke about it a little bit because of last season.
I've gone down so long time listeners to the podcast will probably remember right at the beginning I was a big fan of VAR. And I still think as a system it's infallible because it's just videoing what's happening and then watching a video of that. So it's just a recording of what has happened. The implementation is horrendous and I'm done with it. I'm just done with officiating in general. I don't know how everyone else is, but I've got no respect for IFAB anymore. I can't think of a single referee I actually respect as a person. I respect the whistle. The whistle goes in a match and I'm annoyed or whatever. But I respect their role within the game. We need it in the match of football. But as referees, I just don't even care no more.
Do we need it? Because really, people don't really even tackle how they used to tackle back in the day. Anyways, people just let people do what they want.
I think they would start back up. To be fair, well, you just saying that we should just play indoor
FIFA. FIFA where you can turn off all the everything. You just turn off offsides.
Do you know what? You know what's gonna happen? You're gonna have man like Vinnie Jones where they're grabbing balls and grabbing dicks. That's what you're gonna have. Literally, it's gonna be the purge in 90 minutes. That's essentially what it is. You see how Ben complains about Pickford now? Imagine Pickford with no restraints.
What I'm gonna say is I don't really complain about Pickford. Okay. Pickford is dead to me. I only talk about him when other people bring him up.
Okay, my bad.
There's not some big chip on my shoulder about Pickford. He's erased from my knowledge of the universe until somebody else speaks him forth into existence.
So essentially, what you would have if they removed all that is Cantona, fly kicking.
But Cantona didn't fly kick other footballers; he fly kick fans. You know what I mean? So that's all right, it works. It works for him, innit?
Say
he already had the red card.
You know what? Go big or go home, right? If you're going to go, just make sure you make it count. No, I don't mind VAR. Like Ben said, I don't mind it. But the problem is it's still one of those things where, in a bid to try and clarify and make it easier for all decisions to be understood, it's created a whole bunch. I think it's what VAR has truly exposed for me is that there's a deficit in the level of officiating amongst, it's not the same across the board, because you have referees that you look at it and go, okay, that guy interprets the law or interprets it not necessarily to the word of, but in the spirit of, and VAR is supposed to help you with that. But now what ends up happening is don't get me wrong, there's certain calls that VAR does that I'm just kind of fair enough, the law's the law, i.e. offsides and those kind of things where they go, oh, that there's an arm
even offsides as well, man. That causes me pain, man, bro. I think it was, I mean, in the Southampton game, the Man United one, bro, I'm not gonna lie, that to me that was an offside, bro. Right? What is that, like a fingernail or what? It was dumb. I sat. You know, it is. Yeah, I think referees are getting a bit scared. You know that. I think they're scared. They're scared to make their own mind up. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to stand by your word, and that's what they're afraid of. Because if you say something now, everyone, it doesn't matter which way it goes. Someone's gonna have to say something in it. But bro, stand your ground. Say what it is, and then move on to the next match. It's as simple as that. And I think where it's got to a point now where they can't make up their own mind is where they're following the rules to where they're going to the extreme. That's what I see. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if you're
For me,
sorry,
I think it's like I said, is that deficit in officials where, like in officiating, where the referees don't actually follow the letter of the law across the board. Because you see a situation like, again, as an Arsenal fan, this stands out. When Arsenal played United, I saw Fernandes literally stomp on Xhaka's foot, right? There was a stomp. For better or worse, Xhaka decided to be a hard man about it and then dropped to the floor like a bitch. And the ref just kind of goes, I guess that's fine. Now you see that, and then you see another game where it's not like I don't even like it's not a direct tackle, it's the follow through that's the problem. And you see the ref just whip out the red card and is all waving it around. And I'm just kind of like, consistency, motherfuckers. Like, agreed. I already know that United have a budget for the refs every year. That's fine. Man. I like understand that. Like, so when Fernandes gets away with this, I'm just kind of like, that tracks. But
let's keep them jokes in our back pocket, okay? Because
actually, you know what? That is true. Because I can't tell, and guys can correct me here. Has any team had a penalty after the final whistle has been blown? Any team? Any team?
Dickhead.
Like, did that happen to Chelsea? Don't think so. Liverpool? No. Arsenal? Interesting. What team has it happened to this season? Deji, do you have any thoughts on that?
As I said, man, keep in your back pocket, bro.
Okay. Because, if you want a receipt, I got you.
Yeah. Don't use my own jokes against me. That's the first.
My problem,
that's rule number one.
My problem with the official is I don't mind VAR as a system. I do have a problem with the officials because I don't feel like the officials are consistent enough that it's not a problem. It's that thing of and what it does is it increases the ambiguity that VAR was supposed to remove. So VAR was supposed to be able to remove the fact that, okay, if this is an offside, the ref can go, I'm calling it an offside because here's the backup. There's the video evidence. It backs up what it says. Or, oh, that's a yellow card or that's a red card. Here's the evidence that backs up what he said. And that's why my decision is it. Now, when refs, I don't even think that refs are afraid to make their own decisions and go to VAR. And that I think refs just kind of go they feel they can fuck up more because they can just point to VAR and then go, oh, VAR says it's okay, or the official that's said it, so that official backs me, and then everything is fine. And it's not, I don't think it's always the case. And here's the thing, right? I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind VAR as a concept. I don't mind it when it comes to offside rules and that. But so say, for example, right, without VAR, that whole business with David Luiz could have gone completely different. So according to the letter of the law, if David Luiz had made an active attempt to lunge at that player to try and get the ball or play the ball or whatever, he gets a yellow for that. He gets a yellow card if he had actually made an attempt to play the ball.
The last man.
Sorry? No, I'm not knocking the letter of the law in that. He's the last man, that's fine. Red card, no problem. Yeah. My problem with this is, so say for example, if he had attempted to lunge at that ball, he would have gotten a yellow. That's stupid.
Why? Why would he have gotten yellow?
Because he made an attempt to play the ball. This is actually in the rules. It literally says if he had made an attempt to to get to the ball, he would have gotten a yellow penalty. I don't even have a problem with the penalty. I have a problem with the red card, right? The penalty, that was a lot. The moment the guy went through, I was just kind of shit. The red card was that's where I have a problem. So
did he even touch him?
Sorry?
Did he even touch him?
Bro, I'm not saying anything. I'm not I'm gonna go Jose on this one. I just go, if I talk, yeah. I just leave it at that. But that's disconnects with where the refs don't seem to actually follow certain kind of situation. Because as an Arsenal fan, I'm biased. I'm definitely going to look at it and go, that was too harsh because David Luiz. Because also for me, I think certain players just because they have a reputation, they kind of just like anytime Granit Xhaka does any kind of tackle, I 100% the ref to just go yellow card without anything because it's Granit Xhaka, and that's what
Let me ask Callum this because I think I remember Callum saying at the beginning of the season, he was talking about refs going to the screen more often, or them go. So do you think So based on what me and D were saying, yeah, because I think that referees are scared and stuff like that. Do you think for every decision, not just, I think they only go there for penalties and shit like that, or if it's a dangerous play, but if it's like offsides and whatnot, do you think they should make the decisions and not the guys in that fucking center that they're in?
Which we still don't know the location of.
We don't, because they know what. Because if people know where that location is,
I bet you Man United people do.
Oh, chill, man.
Only get the weekly meeting there, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, man, you have to know where to send the checks and stuff.
No, I think one thing that has been good is that they have been using the monitor more than they were before. Because before it was like the monitor was sitting on the side of the pitch. I think was it the last season, the start of 2019, 2020 season? Did they have the monitor then? And they just didn't use it at all. So I think that's been good to see. How often it gets used, and like mate, everything for me is all about consistency. I will. I don't know if you guys saw the Matty Cash handball that was given as a penalty and then overturned on VAR. It was when the ball, I think a shot came in the penalty box. The guy tried to block it. It came off his thigh and then hit his hand. Now,
I saw that.
Yeah. According to the new rule, if it deflects off a part of your body and then onto your hand, it's not a handball. And that was overturned.
So wait, hold on. Is this new rule something that's implemented after this, or is it a new rule?
Oh yeah. It started after the clusterfuck of effectively you could shoot the ball against the hand to get
So this is my problem, right? It's like they're learning on the job. How many years have we been watching football for? Or how many?
It's not even learning on the job. It's them making the rules up on the job.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild.
So after a team gets fucked by something,
yeah,
next week everybody else gets that little boost.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not even going to lie. It's like Ben said, they're like you IT guys would know. They're troubleshooting as they're working with it. That's a problem. Because when it started at the start of the season and they did that ridiculous handball rule, I was just thinking that literally every coach must have been looking at their strikers and go, so fuck trying to hit the target. You just aim for every defender's hand.
Yeah, that's what happened to
Champions League final, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was that the Champions League final?
Yeah.
No, it happened to, what was it? Is it Andy Carroll? When his Newcastle game, when he headed it and it went into the person's hand. But I think it was Newcastle and Tottenham, innit?
Yes, it was. They got the penalty.
Yeah,
I fucking love that.
Yeah. And then he headed it, and it. I think Dyer was facing the goal, and he headed it, and he wasn't even looking, and he his hand, and he said it's handball, and I was like, wild. I was like, what kind of? But this is the thing, though, Callum.
Just so we're clear, in that instance, I believe it was called correctly. That is to the letter of the law.
Now you're just being a dickhead. That's the thing.
Yes, absolutely. Because it happened to Spurs, and it was fucking hilarious.
No, but based on what you're saying, Callum, yeah, this is my thing, innit? Like, this to everyone, I think. But even that's what I'm saying. So, like, if we're saying that there's no consistency, then shouldn't it be one man making these decisions, not three? Because as you know, obviously, I don't know, but I don't. To be fair, I actually don't know because I don't know what these men are saying in the air for them just to be bare inconsistent. But when my man is on the radio talking to these guys in the office, yeah, should you not all come to one decision? It's almost like they're having an argument between each other about the rules before they actually make a decision.
I think the two things on the back of that is one, I think they are. So you mentioned earlier that people are going to the camera this season. I think there is like an unwritten rule that if I'm in the hangar by Heathrow or wherever the fuck it is, and I send you to the camera, that's me saying overturn your original decision. Because the amount of times that they've gone against their original decision and agreed with what the person in VAR is saying. So I think that's an issue. I think that's just like a bit of like a show and tell kind of thing, where they're like, like, oh, we'll make it look like the referees we thought, but really they've been told by VAR like they were last season. And I think the other thing is they're still not linking up the chains of stuff and working out how it works. So I mean, if we go back to the Pickford challenge, they were like, oh, we didn't give the red card because it was offside. So we're not gonna. But then it happened in the Tottenham Liverpool match where Firmino handballed it. I'm not even gonna lie, like the ball, he moved his arm towards it. I don't think it was like a deliberate, but he did move his arm towards it. We went on, we scored, Salah scored a goal. The goal was disallowed. It got taken back to a Tottenham handball. Tottenham got the handball for it. But my man Dyer handballed it before that. And there was a foul on Salah before that. So if you're going to go back, why are you not going to go back to the original part of the chain of events that happened? And look through, they seem to be picking and choosing. Like I saw one the week after, I can't remember who Leicester played, the week after the Pickford challenge, or a couple of weeks after the Pickford challenge. The same thing happened. Johnny Evans completely pushed someone to the ground. It should have been a penalty. They're like, oh no, the guy was offside, so it doesn't count. Well, hang on, I thought we were saying play to the whistle and we play to the offside and we'll check the offside afterwards. So why aren't you then giving the penalty, or at least giving a yellow card or a red card to Johnny Evans because he's still fouled, man? Like, this is the thing, like, I've said it before on this show, like, if the ball's gone off the pitch and, like, you go to take the throw on, can I come and punch you? Because we're off the pitch, like, we're out of the game, like, it's not happening, like, what's the ref going to do? And I think that's the thing, like, they've got this thing, this VAR, it should be amazing. You've got video, you can relook at all of it. They just need to get that shit together.
I knew it wasn't. I knew it was never gonna work, anyways, man. Because you still have the human, like you said. I think you said it once, Ben. You still got humans making decisions. Do you get what I'm saying? You still got people with their own opinions about. So, for example, let's look at it from this point of view of, like, when they brought in goal line technology in it.
Yeah.
So obviously, before goal line technology, it was always down to a human to make the decision whether the ball went over the net, over the line or not. But where you've got a machine that tells you, listen, 100% of the ball went through. Actually, you know what? I say that.
Sheffield United,
Yeah, that's well, computers are not 100% right all the time. Do you know what I mean? So,
but the computer would be right if it was fucking on and working properly. But my point is, that, like, obviously you've got that's technology controlling that, telling you that, listen, the ball went over. If the ball goes over the line, it is a goal. This, it's final. But where we have fouls and stuff, it's always going to be people's opinions. Do you know what I mean? Which I guess I can move on to something else that I've always wanted to talk. Sorry, go on.
Just quickly, mate, on that subject, the thing that I still don't get is how in offside decisions, the cameras that are watching the offside, how they're not like ultra high frame cameras, so that when when you see the offside replay and they're judging it, I don't know if you saw, I think it was Southampton, Aston Villa, Danny Ings was ruled offside by like a ridiculous amount. But in the same frame, you see the ball being kicked, and the ball is blurred across about a meter or like 2 feet of space.
Should I answer that question? Yeah, should I answer that question for you? If I go into a bus lane, right? If I'm driving and I go into a bus lane, I don't know what kind of camera they're using, but they can capture my whole face. They can say that is this guy is brown with a beard. And he's wearing glass. They can get everything, every single thing. But for some reason, if there's a crime being committed, broad daylight on it, my man's face is bare blurry. Why? How does that work? That's the answer. That's the question we must answer first before we then move on to VAR and answer your offside question.
I can answer that one for you very, very easily, right? Do you know what happens when they catch you breaking like speed limits and all that? You pay the government money. That therein lies the other person who, unfortunately, like any crime that happens, they're not insurance pays for that. The government don't give a fuck, but they want you to pay for the money for you speeding or do whatever it is that you're doing with your car. So that was simple. I've answered the question. So yeah,
that's what it is. They pay some money. They pay like 50 grand for the camera, and they know they're going to get 100, 200 grand back.
Yeah, exactly.
What they're making from offsides then? Nothing. So they don't need a fashionable camera. They just need they just need a 480p. Good to go, bro.
I'm not going to lie. Apart from like the human element, I'm also saying like VAR is genuinely like exposing how bad officiating in the Premier League is. Because you look at it, and I hate to go back to my uncle Arsene Wenger, who was like for Italy and England are the only ones who have like professional referees, like bodies in that. And most of the time, you don't see English refs being chosen for international tournaments and the like. It's telling of how, like, even with video assistance, decisions or things that should be made easier somehow in England, despite having what should be like a professional body, which essentially means you should be the best of the best because this is not a side gig for you, this is a professional gig. You still have such wide and varying like decision made by all, because you're looking at it and thinking if you're all professional, then the point of it being of you being professional is like it's standardized. These are the things that you know, and everyone should be all reading from the same hymn book. But then depending on the ref and depending on who's playing Man United, then like everything just goes all weird and wonky. Sorry, what's that, Digi?
I'm just saying it's old jokes, in it? Pathetic, really, to be fair.
You say that, but really and truly, like, you know, extra time and all that Fergie time, was it? Do you know how bad it must be for them to name it after your old coach? That's special.
It's not, but okay. Let's put this into perspective, innit? Because that joke has been used for years, and let me shut this one down quickly.
Okay, cool.
We're talking about refs being inconsistent. If a ref can't even use their watch properly to even tell the time, or can't even feel the vibration, that tells you that the ball is over the line. Of course, Fergie's gonna be like, bro. You know what Fergie used to do? He used to be like, bro, I started this match the same time they kicked the ball, and you're trying to finish it early. You must be having a laugh. You can't do that. Do you know how much? Oh, nah. Yeah, it's madness, bro. It's simple as, isn't it? Man's just efficient. That's all it is.
Okay, cool. Fair enough.
It's efficiency.
Anyhow, I think so the bottom line is, like I said, is the problem there is there's like, if you're going to make for VAR to work, the human element has to be improved as well. So you can't just have, like, it's good for you to have the piece of technology, but then you actually do need to act like it's not just lip service of like one of the claims to fame of the Premier League and what they always spout is one of the best leagues in the world, if not the best league in the world. You can't then have it be derailed by subpar officiating. Like, there needs to be, like, a higher standard needs to be had. Again, it's one of those things where, like, the technology is there. You already have a body that's in place. All it is the FA and the refs need to do better to actually make VAR. Because VAR and video review technology is not new in sports. They use it in rugby, and rugby works fine, and they do it well. So it's
but you know what? Yeah, on the rugby thing, the difference between rugby and football is that with rugby, like, I guess I'm looking more at the tackles point of view. Rugby is very rough sport, innit? It's pretty much nearly everything goes apart from the little things, whereas football is a little bit different.
But no, but you say that, but like,
I think, anyways, like, that's my opinion. I don't know.
No, like, but even
I disagree. I would say, like, there are certain things in rugby that are harder to catch, or as hard to catch as anything in. So, like, there's certain rules, like the rucks, when they're all piled up on the floor and stuff like that. There are certain things you can and can't do. And like, there's certain, as long as the ref don't see, yeah.
There you go.
But I mean, like, you know, it's more stuff like where people's, like where the ball is, where his hand was on the ball, like all those kind of things. There's a lot of very small things that they need to catch. I think the issue is like the main problem that is with refereeing in particular football, and particularly English football, is like there's this weird thing. So you've got to play to the whistle. The whistle goes, you've got like that's part of playing the game. Like, this is why I say I don't mind the whistle as part of the game. But there's a complete lack of accountability for when referees fuck up. And there's a complete lack of transparency for how that's then dealt with by the organisation. So it's just like things happen and they're obvious. Like, everybody can look at it on their phone and they've got it in their pocket. Like, we've all got tablets and TVs, and like there's so many ways that we can see. Everybody sees these things, and then I've had this all there in the corner like, oh no, that never happened.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, bro, like, I've got 3 devices on my body that I can show you this video footage on. Like, I can show you, and I think that's the issue. Like, you can have, and the quality of refereeing stems out of that. Why bother improve the quality of the refereeing if you're not going to hold them accountable for their actions? Like, you can get a fine for questioning the referee. Like, as a manager, you can get fined for not giving an interview after the match. But then the referees don't have to give an interview.
Man,
just to say, like, quickly. Do you know what I mean? Like, to have that unfairness, you've got the referees going, I don't like what he said, he owes me 30k.
Yeah.
And then the referee doesn't need to explain nothing, but they're supposed to be the person that's bringing the game back into review.
The PG
and they're supposed to be the upholders.
They're just like their own little entity in their own rules, and they have, like you said, Ben, they have no accountability. I think just to touch on the human element, a couple of things when we're talking about rugby. Firstly, what do you guys think of the reasons why we can't hear the conversation that the ref is having? Because for me, if the technology is there to delay the audio and have like any, bad words like bleeped out, whatever. And then secondly, another thing with human element is what do you guys think of linesmen with all of the VAR and offside stuff? Do you think linesmen are now complicating the game?
I think they're relevant. I said this before. When VAR came out, I was like, what's the point of having this what do you call it? A linesman. What is their purpose, really and truly?
For me, with linesmen, and I think this is again going back to the point of VAR in and of itself. I think VAR should only be a last resort. It should only be there for something that it's clear, like for when entirely the human element has completely fucked it up. So say, for example, when like linemen, like this happened, I think, was it a season or 2 seasons ago, where Arsenal was playing United and the linesman said it was offside when it wasn't, and overscored, and there was like some confusion, and then VAR ruled it right. That is what I think. Like, I think the linesmen are still part of the game, because for one thing, I don't think the ref in the center sees everything, because at that point, if we're going to say, oh, the linesmen are obsolete, then the refs themselves are obsolete as well, because we can literally just go, we're going to do it via VAR. There's no human element, and then they just shout over the speakers, you, red card, you, yellow card, oh, that, offside. Like, that was, and also
at the stadium with a dart gun firing yellow.
Exactly, because honestly, wouldn't it be easier? Because then the players can't try shit. Like, literally, just gonna be like, yeah, I caught you in 4K, son. Get off the pitch. Like, so, like those. I think the human element is still needed, because again, like, it's kind of like with customer service, right? There's a reason people still want to go. They don't want to, not everyone wants to deal with a computer or a machine or something. They want an actual face to, like, enough of us have worked in retail. We know that customers like an actual face that they can just yell at because, reasons. And you're just kind of like, I can't fix this. Or they're kind of like, no. And that's the thing. Like, so when, like that, I see the point of refs, and I see the point of the linesman in that the ref won't always catch something. Because you've seen those decisions where the ref is halfway across. He's nowhere near the incident, and he whips out a card, and you're just kind of like, I know you didn't see that shit.
I get it for fouls. Like, I get it for fouls, but based on what Callum is saying earlier on, for offsides, I don't see the point. Because if you're saying that someone's offside by a toenail or by a fingernail, how do you expect a linesman to see that? They should have. Okay, let's say I agree with you. Yeah, and I say that you still need a linesman. Take the flag off him. They don't need it. Just do hand actions. Seriously. You actually don't need a flag, because you can't call offside anymore, because as far as I'm concerned, majority of the offsides they've called has been wrong.
I don't mind that as an option. No, seriously, no, I don't, because here's the thing, right? The main reason why that doesn't bug me, or like I don't mind the linesman on there, because again, more eyes the better. But also, like, it still boils down to that thing of, like, it doesn't matter whether the linesman there or the ref is there. If the ref, the human element, still manages to fuck up, it doesn't matter how many eyes are on the pitch. As long as there's one problem in the process, it fucks everything up. So, like, with VAR and the refs doing what they do, if they're gonna go and they say, oh, like, offsides now are completely the domain of VAR, that's fine. I don't mind that. Let's do that. But then what now happens, for me anyways, is now a case of, like, if you're going to remove that from the linesman, then let's just know that for every match we're going to have 3 officials on the pitch, and then there needs to be, like, we're going to do this, what's the word, voice style or whatever, all these talk show style of just kind of be like, Britain's Got Talent, 3 judges or 2 of the refs have to agree on what the fuck happened, and then we go with that. I don't know, because here's the thing. I think, again, the most important point, like Ben pointed out, is, like, at the end of a game, everyone gets to have their say. The coaches get to have their say. The refs are just numb. Like, step forward, and like own your decisions. Step forward and
That's
go,
what I said though. That's what I said in the beginning.
that guy got a yellow because he's a diving cunt. That guy got a yellow because he's an aggressive little shit. Pickford got sent off because he's a dickhead. You know, like list it out accordingly. Sorry?
The referee's uncut.
Yeah, bro. Like, see, I
think, listen, in an ideal world, if I was a ref and someone tried it, you have to get headbutt still.
So, no, because
it's true.
And then you as a referee wouldn't say anything, so it wouldn't go down in the match report either.
Exactly. There you go, bro. Like for example, just for example, like who's that manager that turned around and said, "Oh, I'm gonna something about jiggling your balls or some shit like that," or what did he say? I can't remember what he said.
I don't know what you're watching late night.
Bro,
he said, "Did you get juggling balls for Christmas?"
Yeah, did you get juggling balls for Christmas? I'll be like, what'd you say? Yeah. I would have turned around and be like, as a ref, what'd you say, bro? You want to take this outside the stadium?
I genuinely, they should just they should have a new referee program for like people who have been in prison for like gang violence. Just so that, like you just got someone like on the pitch, like someone complains, you're like, well, what'd you just say? Come here, say that. Oh, I'm all right. Fernandez was everyone be a lot more.
But I think that's it's the lack of accountability in that the refs know that whatever they say, they're gonna be like. If say for example, right, if you were a ref and at the end of every match you had to step forward in front of a camera so that rival fans could know what you look like, yeah, so that when they see you on road, it's on site. Like Craig Pawson should be nowhere near North London for at least the next 2 weeks, because if someone sees him in not London, it's on site. That kind of shit. So like if you have to go, because it's like Ben said, it's honestly the refs have a case of not having to deal with the consequences of their actions, and because of that, they get to do a lot of shit with impunity, and that's bullshit. Like so, say at the end of, like Ben said, at the end of every match, manager talks, players talks, then the ref steps up and then goes, "Oh, why did you do that?" And then you're going to see a lot of refs just go, like, you know, if they're being honest, I was tired, I heard the shouts, I gave a yellow card. That shit, like...
Ben, you know, last episode, we were talking, when we were talking about Frank Lampard getting annoyed in the press conference, and we were saying that's part of the manager's job, right? It's the same. It should be the same for the referees, all parties involved in the game.
Yeah, but I think the difference that you get with referees is whoever, if the ref has to stand in front of whoever to now explain themselves, you're gonna get rocks, cans, tomatoes, vegetables. He's gonna get definitely one of his 5 a day thrown at him, basically. You know what I mean?
Worst case scenario, they'll have him do it in like a locker room or some ish. I don't mind that, because you know what it is. You know why I want it? It's like I would prefer for it to be recorded, because then it shows a record, right? It shows a record.
Yeah, but they have to write a report anyways after the match, no?
But
who sees that report though?
There's no transparency, like Ben
exactly. But if say for example, what was the name of that United ref? What was his name again?
Chill, man. This is VAR has no. Listen, for the people who are listening or watching, VAR has nothing to do with Man United whatsoever.
I'm not
two separate entities.
I'm not bringing up VAR. Do you know what's funny? I said, what's the name of that United ref? And I bet you any money, Callum and Ben were like, "Oh yeah, I remember that guy."
I can't remember his name, man. I can remember his name.
Exactly. But everyone knows there's a Man United ref. But besides the point, yeah. If my man had going, you see him, this United game, something goes this way. That United game, something goes this way, and it's video evidence of my man. All of a sudden, everyone's gonna get real sus. Like, here's the thing, right? We don't even have video evidence, and we still used to look at my man as sus every time he could. Like, it was like, that guy.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Huh?
Howard Webb.
Yeah. But listen, I'm not. But the thing is, yeah.
Can I just cut you off for 2 seconds, because when he said Howard Webb, you were just like, yeah.
No, because I was trying to remember his name as well. But what I will say on that matter is, it kind of sounds like a yous problem. That's what the thing is. It's a you guys problem. It's not my. It's got nothing to do with me.
Like, the thing for me, and the whole thing about the whole VAR, the whole officiating debate, is as simple as this. Like, you can't. IFAB is still trying to say the referees are infallible, but we brought in a system to give referees answers because we're acknowledging that they're infallible. So you can't hold both things together. Does that make sense? So like we can joke about the Man United thing, like, and all of that, but at the end of the day, while football is like a sport, it's also a multi-billion-pound enterprise. Like people's livelihoods, and I'm not talking about people who are like football players. I'm talking about like, you know, dinner ladies and stuff like that, and all of that. And like, just to me, it's just fucking ridiculous that you're at this point where like you have a system where it's like, yeah, referees are humans, like they can make mistakes, but they can't actually make mistakes. Like everything they say is true. And like, I find the Howard Webb jokes funny, but at the same time, I think it's also kind of like taking the spotlight away from just trash refereeing in general. Because Howard Webb, for all his Man United loving antics, was a decent referee. Like I did actually respect him as a referee.
Unless, except when he, you know, was playing with Man United.
That's part of the game, though.
Right. Okay. Right.
It's
So
like, you know, Bruno's going to get shot at some point in the second half.
Right. Moving on quickly. Right. So this is kind of, I'm going to kind of link this to obviously refs and stuff like that. It's something that I've always wanted to talk about. Like, I don't know, one of the next podcasts we might go through it, by position, from position to position. But in relation to like VAR and referees and crap referees, do you think the art of tackling as a defender has disappeared? Now, the reason why I'm asking this question is obviously, I think we had this conversation one time and we was looking at what is a defender and, you know, what makes you a good defender. And we was always looking at, I think everybody will all agree, oh, it's about your positioning and reading of the game and stuff like that. But sometimes you need to give that tackle just to make sure that people know that you're here. Has that gone? And do refs now look at that and go, well, if you do that, I'm going to give you a yellow card? Or, for example, Luis, I don't even know if he touched him, but if your knee hits his studs, that's a bad tackle. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. Do you see where I'm trying to go with this?
Yeah. I don't think the art of the tackle is gone. I think what has changed is how it's done. Like, so back in the day, I remember watching Serie A, and I used to look and I used to feel sorry for any striker or attacker that had to deal with Nesta of AC Milan, because I was just kind of like, you're going to dribble this brother, and the next time he sees you, it's going to be two-footed, taking out your leg, and like, you know, that's your season done. But like that kind of tackling, I'm glad they kind of phased that out. Nowadays, when you look at it, it's kind of like, I think they're good tacklers that have learned how to stay on their feet and just manage to like go through the ball. Like when they tackle, they know how to aim for the ball better. It's more a thing of like, nowadays I think they've just streamlined it, so there's less chances of more aggressive kind of tackling. So it's kind of like, which was why, like, I think you pointed this out, Deji, when you look at someone like Scott McTominay, when he tackles, he's still like, he's a hard tackler, but when he tackles, he still does it within the, like, you know, the margins of.
I don't know. So, you know why? Because
so effectively, what you're saying is, if he's getting away with it, there's a referee's bias towards Scott.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's the how did you go from there to there?
Hey,
how did you make that? How did you travel? How did you travel from there to which mode of transport did you use? Because whatever transport you used, you need to stop using that one. Okay, because cool. what I'm trying to say is that he gets. Don't get me wrong, he is a hard tackler, but I think it depends on the ref who's refereeing the game, basically. So right. some refs be like, no, some refs might be like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, I'll let that go because that's a tackle. Whereas others are like, oh, you know, somebody just falls over. And then, so for example, like now I know that refs look at players and go, okay, let's say Neymar, for example. Neymar became this big massive thing because it became a big massive thing around Neymar because of the type of player he is. He's flair, he does skills and stuff like that. So the minute you touch him and he goes down, ref automatically in the head think, oh, well, clearly the defender got done. So, you know, I'm just going to go in favor of Neymar. I mean, what do you think, Ben?
I mean, Neymar's a pussy. I'm afraid out of the first thing. I was sticking with you up to that point. I think, to be honest, I think part of the issue is like, there's two things. There's one is like, I think football intelligence has dropped a little bit. And I think it's about knowing the tackle that you can do on the halfway line, and knowing the tackle you can do on the edge of the box. So there's two different things. Like you can put more of a boot in, like on the halfway line, because it's not really, you know. And then I think the other thing is just. Sorry.
It's the Southampton player in the first minute of the United game.
Oh, that was
I missed that game.
yeah. No,
I was
that,
was too emotionally worn out after the Arsenal game.
listen, Ben, you watch wrestling? You watch wrestling? You used to watch
Yeah,
wrestling?
Back
You
in the
know,
day,
there was a move, yeah, where somebody would bounce off the rope and then like go straight for your shin, it was like a slide. I think it was called a baseball
Yes, yes,
slide
yes.
or something like that. It was like that
Baseball
basically.
side, yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that basically.
It,
That kind of thing.
it was that combined with the Stone Cold Stunner kick.
Yeah,
The attack to start off the stunner. That's what it was. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. That's a perfect example of it.
But yeah, there's that, and then I think the other thing is just the fact because the game is quicker and people are running faster, it takes less to knock someone over, and I think it then gets difficult. Like it's difficult to say like I can't run as fast as these football players, so I don't know how little effort it would take. Like we often talk about like when we're playing in the park, we tough it out, yeah, but we're running at like 4 miles an hour, not like 15 or whatever the fuck they're at. So like I think the speed as well is another factor because when you're moving faster, that little nick is enough to take you off. So I don't know if the art of defending is gone. I think it's a different game. It's faster and I don't know.
I think it's also led to an increase in what those like technical fouls or technical fouling, where like more of the thing is like you get rid of a problem before it becomes a problem. It's why you see like Man City were guilty of doing this a lot last season. I think they still do it now. Where my man's about to go on a break, and next thing you know, my man just put his body and they go, oh look, okay, yeah, that's done. And it means that
Yeah.
exactly. So, and I think it means, like Ben was pointing out, it reduces the need for defenders to tackle the way they used to tackle back in the day, because now the opposing team isn't waiting for you to get to the danger zone before they take out a problem. So it's one of those things where like, and now which leads to the rising. I think this is where you now find it's more about how well an individual can tackle another or can subdue another individual. So you look like for Arsenal, I think one of the best tacklers we have, especially when he's standing, is Maitland Niles. Watching Maitland Niles try and like tackle someone is so good to watch, because the way he closes down the player, the way he positions himself. When you're trying to beat him one-on-one, he makes it as uncomfortable as possible. Either he limits your where you can run, effectively slows you down, and just makes it really like you need to now make a decision on how you're going to try and beat him. And he does that really well. And when he tackles, he stays on his feet. He's not from the old school like Mustafi level of like, oh,
Whoa,
this
whoa.
guy's beat me.
He was only there
That's
like a
the thing,
couple
but
of
like
days ago.
Do you know how long I've just wanted to leave? Like the fact that Mustafi doesn't wear an Arsenal shirt anymore is just so amazing for me. Like I feel so light. It's amazing. But no,
He
but
terminated his
like,
contract, didn't it?
sorry.
Terminated his own contract.
I don't care how it happened. I'm glad for his service. I'm glad he's gone. Just like, you know. But Mustafi used to do that nonsense where he couldn't get a person. He just slide in, and then the person would just fall over him, and then it's done, and Mustafi's out of the game. So,
Right. Okay.
but
So okay. Right. You brought
yeah,
up a good point there about sliding. Right. So
yeah,
Wan-Bissaka does that, and he gets the ball I'd say about 90% of the time. Do you get what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
he doesn't stay on his feet, and he gets the ball. And I sometimes I sit there and I wonder to myself, how come a lot of people can't do that? Do you get what I'm saying? Like why can't a lot of defenders do that? Because that's what we did used to see back in the day. He kind of brings back that old school defending. And when I look at defenders now, I look at them more as, yeah, you're looking for the interception, you're looking for, close body contact. You're not quick. Like I agree with Ben to a certain degree. You're not quick on the turn in terms of recovery. Do you know what I mean? And then when you can't recover is when you make a stupid mistake, like what David Luiz did. Do you know what I mean? So, like, and I guess for Chelsea, I don't know if I can kind of link it to them as well. But what do you think, Helen?
I think the perfect example of that was Christensen on Mane when we lost 2-0, when he got wiped out the game for bear hugging Mane.
Yeah.
Because he got turned, he couldn't recover, and instead of trying to make an attempt for the ball, he just decided to grapple the guy. For me, one of the biggest changes.
You're not allowed to grapple.
Well, according to Harry Maguire and Aspi, I still can't get over that penalty that wasn't given. Anyway, I'm not burned at all.
Sorry. Wait. When you say that, Harry Maguire plays for who?
Oh, chill, man, bro. When you got David Luiz doing a madness all over the place,
Oh
bro,
no,
you can't
but here's
talk.
the thing. Here's the thing, right? When David Luiz does his madness, he actually gets punished for that shit. Unlike certain fridges who do some shit.
I was just going to say one of the things that we've really missed at that Thiago Silva has brought back is the ability to tackle, the ability to, when a player is literally running at you one-on-one, I'm more confident that, and I have been in a good while, that Thiago Silva will get the ball cleanly. He's just got that ability to step forward and put his leg in the way in such a way that you know it's not going to be a foul, it's going to get the ball cleanly, but also you're not going to put your own body in danger, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. The way that he goes into the tackle is hard, but you know there's always a chance of knocking a knee or doing an ankle or something like that. And he doesn't look like he has that. I mean, I'm talking like this and he's gone off with a quad injury, but that's a bit, but yeah, that's what I think, man. And we've definitely missed that for sure. Rudiger loves to go to the ground. Zoom loves to go to the ground.
Yeah,
as well, so.
Rudiger, I don't know. I think he's a goat. Not goat in the good way. I think he's a goat as in an animal. Like, he just likes grass. Yeah, he just likes grass. This guy's, every time I see him, he's on the ground. I'm like, bro, why are you rolling around in the grass, bro? What do you mean this is?
Sorry, here's the thing. If we're looking at that, is it like Ben pointed out? Ben said about how like football is a bit faster now and players are required to be a bit more intelligent. Is it like, are we saying in general the reason why we don't see tackles like we used to see back in the day is because, one, the game has sped up, so players and defenders have adjusted accordingly? Or is it just that, you know, back in the day, the defenders and defensive midfielders back in the day were just mean assholes?
Yeah, I think it was closer to a Saturday, Sunday morning league football, where the guys just don't give a shit, basically. And they will come, they will go through you if they have to. That's it. It's that simple.
It's true. It's true.
I think as well, like the way that football is played and like with everybody's system and making it more technical and, you know, all of the, you know, everyone's got a different way of playing and, you know, the Guardiola blueprint, you've got the Klopp blueprint. I think a lot of those plans have been designed to get the ball out of the areas where people used to make those tackles. So I think it's not the same. Like when everyone used to play 4-4-2, everybody's pretty much matched up in a one-on-one. So you'd have like your left winger would go against their right back. You know, you would have everybody lined up, and you've got more room for that kind of one-on-one challenge. And like it makes more sense. So if you're just like the left back, it makes more sense to put a boot on the opposing right winger in the first 5 minutes. If you know you're going to line up exactly with this guy for the next 85 after that. But if everybody's spinning all around on the park,
you
there's no point. But there's no point in me putting a tag on one person if then they switch wingers over or they change something around or they do something and then that is wasted. So I think that's changed as well in the game.
Can you imagine that defender just going, "No, you're not my guy. That's my guy." Like he's the one. He knows he shouldn't be doing that shit. So if you just bring him back, and then we'll do this all over again.
Right. Well, so say you're like a left back. Sorry, to kind of say you're a left back lining up against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Are you going to be worried more about Salah, or are you going to be more worried about Trent? You've got that split. Like it's more. Yeah. And I think that's more, more tactical and system.
In that situation, I'm going to be worried about the person who's in front of me. I'm going to be like, what the fuck are you doing, bruv? I've got two people here. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm worried about him.
So I think that's the thing. I think like football's changed, like, and the plans that people have developed have been to try and get the ball away from the areas you can be tackled easily. And I think that's kind of like the change, like, the tackles are happening further up the pitch. People are trying to press higher. Yeah, like that, defending has got more last ditch. Whereas back in the day, it's like when you had people like Gascoigne or you had like Paul Mercer, and like none of them are like pressing from the front or coming back to help, cover. Yeah, so I think there was more space. Exactly. Yeah.
Quite simply, do you think that the time spent on the ball by players has got has come down by quite a lot since the old days, so that the ball is just getting popped around so quick that you can't make a tackle? Like the ball is not there to even attempt to make a tackle. Not that they needed it back in the day.
I think as well also the thing. So I think as well as people get better drilled as players in like a progressive way, you have options. So like back in the day, it was more like just give Ryan Giggs the ball and see what Ryan Giggs can do. Just give Gerrard the ball and see what Gerrard can do. As it gets more tactical, and it's like I know a lot of coaches are like they train their players like, okay, right, if you're in the ball in this section of the pitch, and then you get given the ball, and then that guy's there, and this guy, and they run through a lot of options, and like they really kind of drill in very tight detail. I think because of that, it's less easy to tackle people just man on man, because it's more of a case of, right, if Demola gets the ball, Demola's been told 5 things that he can do. Me as the opposing defender, I don't know what those things are, so I can't block that. Yeah. So I just need to either leave him or just take him out. Whereas I think in the old days, it was more like, okay, right, it's just a man-on-man thing, and I need to only just worry about the guy rather than the entire team.
I think one perfect example of that in terms of like popping the ball around the park and having those different options is when you look at teams and players like Barcelona, Xavi and Iniesta. The ball got popped around so quickly in that midfield that you would think that those two, they're only like 5'7", they could get bossed in terms of physically, but the ball wasn't even there. They passed you too quickly to even think about making that tackle. And I think that's probably one of the biggest changes for me, anyway.
I think as well, it's one of those things, and that's the perfect example, is like for you to get close enough to block Iniesta physically, you had to have 2 guys on him. If you put 2 of your guys on Iniesta, he's achieved his goal if he doesn't touch the ball, because he's now pulled your team out of position. So I think that makes it a bit more difficult, because you've got to. It's become more about what you're doing for the team and stuff like that, and what you're doing in and out of possession. And I mean, it's weird, like, because whenever you hear a footballer, they're like, oh yeah, I really want, I like it simple. I like a manager that comes. It was one of the criticisms that may or may not have come out of the Chelsea dressing room with Frank Lampard, that he wasn't really explaining what was going on, and players didn't know what they were doing. And players like things simple, they like to be told, but at the same time, there's these wonderful, magical plans that the managers are coming up, and the ones that succeed are the managers who can take a beautiful big plan and make it very simple for the players. All
right. So let's move on to something else, right? Because we've got a couple of minutes left and stuff like that. I'm gonna give you some bite-sized news. So there's probably one that we heard today. Shout out to Kelechi for doing this. There's a guy called Onana. What's your name?
I swear to God, you know what? Just like that's the I'm not even sure that's how you pronounce the name.
I'm sure it's not, but because he said it to me, that's how I want to pronounce it. Yeah, it's stuck in my head. Yeah. But so the news goes, obviously he took some supplements. That is no, he didn't take supplements, but basically his wife gave him some pills which had something in it which he should not be using as a professional sportsman. And he has been given a 1-year ban. I'm not going to lie. When I saw 12 months, I said, I didn't know what had happened in it. I just saw 12 months. And I said, what did you do to warrant 12 months punishment? But what do you do in that situation? I mean, the question I want to ask, right, is, what do you do to your wife? What do you say to your wife? No, seriously. Like, if that was me, right, and that happened, 12 months, I can't play football, and it's all because I had a headache, and my wife was like, "Yeah, just take this, it's fine."
Just so we're clear, I think my man just pinned it on his wife. Because here's the thing, right? You understand that for him, for whatever to have happened, for them to have clocked, I doubt it's going to be one test, right? So unless he was always having that same problem, and his wife was, unless his wife is like a medical professional, and she's going here taking them pills, there's no way you're just going to go like, yes, darling, I trust you entirely. Give me them pills. I'll just keep taking them.
No, but it might not happen like that. It might have been like, I got a headache, and she's just like, just take this. And he's like, no, she's gone. It's paracetamol. And he's like, yeah. Let me just take it, and then just put it down his throat.
I don't have the sympathy for him, to be honest.
Damn. But what if it's an accident?
So this is the thing. So like, it's harsh, but the clubs have so many people. You're telling me that you can't take a photo and WhatsApp it to the club doctor?
Listen, when you've got that headache, that migraine.
Yeah. Trust me, I know that. Because I'm one of those people, I hate having headaches, so I'm like, even if I think I might be getting a headache, I'm like taking the Nurofen from the cupboard, like I'm there like preventative medicine, like. But like from my point of view, so we had a situation with Mamadou Sakho, and that's why he left Liverpool. So he originally got a ban because he took some fat loss pills, which contained a substance. He then missed I want to say Europa League final, and possibly we were in another final that year because of the ban that he had. Turned out that the substance that they had wasn't in the UEFA like list of banned substances. It was just like, it sounded medically kind of thing like that. So there's situations where this has happened. You as a professional football player at a club where they are spoon fed like so much of this stuff. Like from my point of view, if you can't take a photo and send that to the club doctor,
but these things happen quick.
So no, this
is the thing. WhatsApp happens quick.
It's true.
Trust me, I can go find a packet of tablets. I can take a photo and send it to you. We'll still be on the air, bro.
But also, here's the thing: how many times does he have had that headache before even he goes, okay, maybe I need to tell my club. Maybe they need to do an MRI on my head just to make sure something's not killing me. Because like at no point, like I can never believe that any kind of professional athlete, right? I was not even. I don't even know why I was putting that.
Why did you do this?
Exactly. I did out the wrong bit. I don't think there's any professional athlete who takes supplements without knowing what the fuck is in them. Like, so unless like, if you're going to take any kind of drug, most athletes, they either get it via their coach, right? And if you're getting it via your coach, then if anything pops up, you can literally turn to your club and go, that motherfucker spiked me. Or
that's what he did. He said my wife spiked.
He said his wife, not a person, not a medical professional in the club, his wife. My man went on I don't know what he did. He probably went to see some man under a bridge or some shit, bought some judgy shit, and now he's come back to bite him in the ass. Because I don't understand. You can't be a professional. Like, this is your livelihood, right? Yeah. There's no way in hell that you're going to take the piss. And also, I would even understand if like your body wasn't the main part of what you do. His body is literally the main part of what he does. If he's not monitoring everything that's going into his system, then he's an idiot. Wow. And I don't think he's had a career this long by being an idiot. I think he probably, like, maybe some dodgy farmer person came to him and said, "Hi, this thing is untraceable. Taking it, they're gonna catch you. You test it out. You know, like my man was probably part of a trial." Yeah, and then he's like, everyone else got the placebo, he got the real thing, and then they caught him, and then he's not like, "Oh shit."
That is one elaborate story, you know. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah.
It's a little bit specific, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like James and it's that what's that thing? What was that story called, man? When the guy goes and buy magic beans, man.
Oh, beanstalk.
Yeah, Jack, and that's what it sounds like there, bro. It's like he went and said, "Yeah, like I'll give you them cow for the beans."
Here's the thing, right? Which story makes more sense? His wife gave him pills for his headache several times, or a pharmaceutical company came to him, asked him to do a drug test, and he was going to get money or shares or whatever ways they're going to pay him, and he was just the idiot that got busted.
Yeah, that's true.
All I'm waiting for is for the Bayern Munich doctor to get caught, because quite frankly, some of those players are disgusting. In fact, I was chatting with a mate. I said, you know what? Bringing in Thomas Tuchel, one of the good things is he might get Jorginho up to like a Goretzka level. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine watching Jorginho walk out next summer, like just built like a tank. That would be. I'm paid for that.
Right. So just for the people listening and for people watching as well, this is all, you know, Allegedly. So we're not saying it's fact.
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah, allegedly these things happened, didn't it? You know, we're
For
not
legal reasons, this was all
yeah.
a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, we got like about 5 minutes left. Yeah, one more thing, one more bite-sized news. And this is coming from me because I've got receipts in it. Um, who is it? Yeah, Mourinho got asked by a pundit, or not pundit, got asked by one of the guys that's interviewing, why didn't you bring on Bell? And he responded, that's a good question, but you don't deserve the answer. What do you think the answer was?
I think the answer was I didn't bring Bale on because Bale's not about that life no more. Simple as. Bale is not about, because here's the funny thing about, and I think Deji, and this is why Deji brought it up. You think you slick. I know that's why you brought it up.
The receipt.
You brought it up because you said from time Bale was just here for good vibes. That Bale was not looking to play. Bale was just here for good vibes. So I know that's why you brought it up. But more importantly, I think, and this is with the whole Spurs team as a whole has just disappointed me. So I have a personal beef on that front because at the start of the season, I actually had high hopes for these motherfuckers. And I was just kind of like, oh yeah, like, Jose has them playing well. They might actually do some shit. And then they go and Spurs it up in the most Spursy way possible. Dickheads. But like, other than that.
Sounded a bit sour there.
Sorry? Oh no, like, I'm so, like, they're two bits of like stuff at the start of the season that pissed me off. Timo Werner is one of them. I thought that idiot was going to do better than he has, and then he just decided to like just go like, nope, not doing shit this season. Sorry about that, Callum.
He's scored quite a few goals. You should point out he has scored quite a few goals.
He has also hit the woodwork a good few times.
Yeah, but woodwork is not a goal.
Yeah, that's closer than a lot of Aubameyang shots. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. How many goals does Aubameyang have this season? How many does Timo have? Like, bro, there's levels to this shit. Let's not.
Yeah.
More important.
I'm gonna look this up. Have we got enough time for me to look this up?
Yes, please look it up.
We got about 3 minutes.
I want to see this. We like see how easily
Callum,
we've been distracted from.
Whilst Ben is looking for that, Callum, what do you think the answer was that Mourinho didn't want to give that he felt like people did deserve?
He didn't have an answer, man. He had no answer that he could give. Do you know what I mean? That's Mourinho classic for you, creating like a whole cloud, a whole storm, and really it's got nothing to do with it.
No, I forget the answer. I think it was just that he's shit, basically.
Sorry, no, that's what I mean. He
did give an answer later on in it.
Oh, fair.
And his answer was, we're doing our best and he's doing our best.
What? What does that mean? You see what I'm saying about this guy?
This is the thing. It's as simple as this. Like, Bale's come in. He's not performed to the level. Like, it was one of those things. Like, he's just not fit enough. Like, bless him. And he doesn't care no more. So
you're earning millions of pounds. You should be fit. You know what? I always said that if I earn
Maybe
a stupid
hell no. If you're being paid millions of pounds by a club that isn't even your own club, why are you going to stay fit for?
Nah, that's wild. You should retire. This is why,
the supplements he's taking aren't good.
Yeah, he needs to speak to Onana.
Yeah, that's the one.
I need to find out how to pronounce his name because I can't be calling man Onana, you know.
Onana. I completely forgotten. Who was I looking up?
Aubameyang and Werner.
Right, Timo Werner's got 4. And I can't see Aubameyang on this list, you know.
I swear. How much is he earning? 400k? Something like that. Thereabouts.
350. Calm down.
I was close.
No, I don't think Aubameyang.
Also, that's about how much Rashford is going to get when he hits all his bonuses.
Let him hit his bonuses, bruv. That works out for us, anyways. But yeah. So right, guys. I think we covered most for about half of the season, man. Just quickly, one more question, just before we head out. Who do you think is going to win the Prem now that we've seen what?
City.
Callum?
Yeah, I think it's hard to see past City now.
I'm going to go with West Ham. And on that note, guys,
sorry, wait, what? Fuck off. You can't end on that note. On that note. But no. You can't end on that's like me coming out and going like, mathematically, West Brom can still win the league. On that note, like, what the
No. We all know that it's City that's gonna win it. We all know that's gonna happen. Guys, thank you very much for watching.
Thank you. That's a quick
Please.
question.
Yeah, go on.
How would you feel inside if David Moyes finished above Man United? Genuinely.
You know what? As I said, yeah, with the way that Man United have moved in the last 7 years, anything can happen, and I just probably won't give a shit. I will just be like, it is what it is, because I would be like, it's even expected. Because anyone that, as I said before, anyone that comes to Man United literally gets destroyed because of the people above. And that's what happened with David Moyes. David Moyes, I didn't think he was a
Even
good
Lingard.
manager. And he shouldn't have. David Moyes should have never sat in the Man United seat for me personally, but that's their own decision. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, man. But yeah, as I said, guys, please hit the subscribe button. Keep on following what we're doing. We're gonna try and bring you out as much content. Hit the like button. It costs you absolutely nothing, so you should be doing it. And yeah, man. Follow us on Twitter. Make sure you do that. All the socials and everything in the link below.
Yeah, be good vibes. Be good vibes like Bill and Ole is good vibes at Man United. Just vibes. Good vibes.
Yo, guys, if you search for us on Apple Podcasts, give a 5-star review as well. If you're listening to the audio podcast, that'll be
Ben, that's 10.
I was about to say that's
What?
10.
Log in with one account and give a 5. Log in with your second account and log another 5. That's how we do.
Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you share that, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Peace.